Hey, what's going on? It's your boy Optimal Happiness Guy. Today we're going to apply some pressure because if you're not applying pressure, pressure has been applied to you. We got a few different topics we're going to discuss. Number one, ladies, how much time do you have to find a companion in life? Topic number two, women, the attention that you seek or that you receive from men, does that attention make those men viable options for you in life? Topic number three, do you have to settle as a woman? Do women settle in life in regards to men? We'll dive into it on this episode. Let's go.
Brian Green, Optimal Happiness Guy, is a Renaissance man, a part of the Talented 10, published author of Amazon's #1 new release, Optimal Happiness, Love Ain't Never Been Enough, certified holistic coach at Becoming and Growth, LLC, entrepreneur of Body Goals and Skill Hacks.
All right. I want to thank you all for tuning in today to another episode of Optimal Happiness Guy. I have two guests with me today, and we're gonna talk shop and chop it up and have some candid conversation and just see where the conversation goes. So on my screen, top left, Sam is with us, and also Fola K. So Sam, please introduce yourself and tell the people anything you want them to know about you.
Absolutely. Hi, everybody. My name is Sam Hunter. You can find me on Instagram at SamSam704. I am an aspiring MC, like Miss Fola here, but I currently work in marketing and have been in the financial services industry for 16 years.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us. And Fola K, introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I am Fola K. I am an MC, background in mental health. However, I host a series of events, baby showers, bridal showers, weddings. I moderate, you name it, I'm there, virtual and in person, coming to you live from the DMV.
Great. Thank you for joining us. And I handpicked you two ladies, especially because you both are very intelligent and very respectful and ladylike in many regards. And I want to have a candid, productive conversation where we may agree, where we may disagree, but it still is a productive conversation. So thank you for being who you are, and let's just jump into some of the topics. All right. So the first topic that I want to ask you about, and feel free to answer pertaining to yourself or answer pertaining to just your general understanding of the questions if you don't want to get too personal. So it's up to you how you answer, okay? All right, so the first question started with Fola. How much time do you think women have to find a life companion?
How much time do we have? I mean, I don't feel like there's a specific time. So Sam, would you like to take that one?
So I have an answer for this. So I would say before meeting Brian and having some of our detailed conversations, I would have said, I have my whole life. I have a lifetime to find a mate. And now I know that's not true because a couple of things are happening. As I'm aging, the men in the pool that I would be eligible to date or that would be eligible to date me are aging. I think as we get older, we get more set in our ways and we're less likely to accept certain things that maybe when you're younger, you're more willing to accept. I think that the optimal time, now knowing what I know, to find a husband was probably 15 years ago. I'm about 15 years short of when I should have done this, but I'm not saying that to say that all hope is lost and I'm giving up. I'm just saying that I think it's a little bit easier for a woman to be more selective when they're younger versus than when they're older.
All right, Fola, you want to answer now?
Yes, thank you. So yes, I definitely agree to your point based on what you said. Yeah, absolutely. While we were younger, it probably would have been better, right? But I just think that as I'm looking at it now, as someone who still wants that life companion, I'm not ruling it out. I still believe that that's going to happen, and it's going to happen soon, very soon. So to go back to just kind of answering the question again, is yes, early on in life would be better. As far as putting a specific limit on it, I don't want to say that there's a specific limit, but I do think when we think of selection, when we think of having babies, when we think of all of these different things, they're definitely easier. And there is a probably wider range when we're younger. So maybe mid-20s, I would say, if I had to just put a number on it.
But you know what? And Brian, if I can, the thing is, in my mid-20s, I wasn't mature enough I wasn't even mature enough to know what I should have been looking for and what I and I've said this in before, I wish I had met him 10 years ago, easy. Just because of the conversations that we've had and the discussions that we've had. I think in my mid-20s, I just thought I had so much time, and really quickly 25 turned into 35, and now it's 40. So, I'll be 40 in 2 months, and it's like, whoa, drastically different dating pool than what I had access to 5 years ago. And all of that is causing me to have to think differently about how I approach this, and to really be specific about what I'm looking for. I don't have the luxury to browse anymore. I can't just thumb through, right? I have to be real intentional about my time, my energy, and the type of people that I allow into my space. So I mean, that's the issue, is that all of these other variables change the longer you wait to pick a mate. Whereas 10 years ago, and I keep saying 10, and really it's 15. So 25-ish, between 25 and 30, I probably had the best selection then. Not that I don't have it now, it's just different now. We're all older now. All of these people in my pool are older now, and everybody's looking for different things. So I just think it would have been a lot easier had I done it earlier.
Absolutely. So I appreciate both of your answers. And I phrased that question the way I did intentionally. How much time do women have to find a life companion? And we don't know, right? But I think the key thing to note is it's not as much time as women often think and believe. So I want to spark the conversations like we had today and try to figure out how much time do women have, because there is a number on it. It's diminishing returns, of course. The older you get, the less options you have. Of course, the less time you have to find somebody of the caliber that you will actually want. But we need to start having the conversation and have women think about that and then adjust accordingly. So I'm hoping this conversation and other conversations on this topic that I'm hoping people will start having more of serves as somewhat of a hourglass, so to speak. Can you all see this? I hope you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you see the blue sand in here?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is what's happening to women. The sand at the top, there's a amount of time there. And every single day, that time is just running out. And women don't even realize it. So like y'all mentioned, or like Sam mentioned, 15 years back at 25, 20 to 25, that sand is starting to run out. And then women don't realize it until about 40, 45. And then it's like, well, what am I doing wrong? Now you're at a point where mentally you're in a good position to realize you are doing some things wrong and you need to make some changes. What are those changes? And you can work through the process and try to get better results. But at that point, you let most of that time already run out. And you're working with attributes that are not sought after as much as they used to be. So there is amount of time. It's running out. Each day you have less and less time. And we got to start having these conversations and figuring out how much time there is and just understanding that there is a amount of time that you're losing and do some things differently. So the hourglass is rolling, ladies. All right. I hope that analogy helps some. I know they're gonna hate it, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
so.
they're gonna hate it, but I think the thing, as you know, I hated it when we had this conversation. He knows I went through a struggle because I felt like this is garbage. We're all on the same timeline. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? We all have the same timeline. You guys have it, we all have it. That's not true. Because as you constantly say to me, we're the ones who want to be married, not y'all. I literally had a conversation with a girlfriend who was in Miami this weekend. Horrible example, but that's where she was. And she was talking to some guy and they were having a great time and the evening went on and the conversation continued and she made a proposition to him. She said, look, and they're friends. They've been friends for years. If we're still both single when we're 50, we should link up. I don't think she said marriage. I don't remember. But he literally said to her, why would I do that? What do I have to gain by linking up with you? And I will be honest, had I not had the conversations that I had with Brian before hearing his comment and that conversation, I probably would have been angry. I would have been like, who does he think he is? I laughed because I was like, he's right. Like, there's nothing that he needs from her. Everything that is being gained would be gained by her, as far as he's concerned, right? And perception that's 100% of the game. Whatever he thinks he's getting, that's what he's getting or not getting. So, I mean, that's the part that changed it for me.
All right, Fola, I saw you laugh there. Did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I was just saying that, I agree. I mean, honestly, I think I probably maybe in just doing a lot more self-awareness things lately. I definitely have to say that I would have done things differently. However, I do think that things that I knew or that I know now, I didn't really know before. And I don't think that men at that time knew those things either. I think a lot of people are becoming more aware, just in general. So I wouldn't have necessarily said I would have done it differently. I was just at a different stage in my life. However, the ones after me, like my siblings, my younger ones, we're definitely pushing them in a different direction so they're prepared and not having to be at this same place at this age in life. So,
well, I think the other interesting thing is men are changing too, right? So like we're changing and evolving. This generation behind us is changing and evolving too. So I don't even know my younger cousins, I don't even know if their set of circumstances is going to be similar to mine. It could be a whole different ball game. But what I think will remain consistent is the fact that women want the marriage. I think men get married for various reasons. Brian, you could tell me why, you could share that, but I think for us, it means something different for us than it does for men. And that's why we go after it the way that we do versus they don't.
I mean, in us, we want kids early, right? They can have a kid at 60, 70. I mean, I think that also plays a factor when we think of our biological body. And as they say, clocks, right? A guy can go and do that ongoing. As we get older, our eggs start decreasing and diminishing, I guess, if we want to use that word. And it's just not the same for me, right? We get older and we're less desirable. A guy gets older and we're looking at him like, ooh, more wisdom. Ooh, he's older. They're looking at us like, ooh, she's old.
Yeah, he gets more desirable, right? He's smarter. He has more money. He sometimes looks better
right.
In most cases. So yeah, it's a completely different, a completely different situation.
Absolutely.
All right, good.
I mean,
good.
I like it. I don't like it. That's what it is. I like it. That's what it is.
Hey, it's right. It is what it is. And we got to start looking at some things different. So to transition to the next question, and these things kind of play into the life companion and the time component of it, right? So the next question I want to discuss, starting with Miss Sam, is: do women mistake attention as valuable options from men?
I'm doing this right now. Somebody is giving me a whole heck of a lot of attention, and he should not. I should have blocked him a week ago. But what's crazy is it's nice to get attention, and you like it, and you like the way it feels, and so you gravitate towards it, thinking this is a good option. When really that's a decoy. That, like, in my case, it's a decoy. Like, this man is pretending to be into me, and he's not. He is trying to get the skins, and I know this, but I still allow the phone calls. I'm still texting him, and it's a waste of my time. I know that, and I eventually have to just cut it off. But I think often we mistake it as good intentions when we know what it is. We like attention, unfortunately.
All right, Fola, what's your answer?
Oh, you know what? Actually, Brian and Sam, I actually do believe that people mistake attention with someone being a viable option. And it goes really to what you said, Sam. You know, as women, as humans, I think we all like attention, right? So I know for me, having that person around, sometimes something, whether it's a conversation, a call, or whatever the case may be, we might see good. There might be some good traits, there might be some good qualities, but does that necessarily mean that they're actually should be an option, a viable option at that? And I do think that there's a lot of confusion that takes place. And I think if we're not careful and if we don't have specific things that we're looking for and we can clearly identify that in an individual, it'd be too easy to fall in. So to answer your question, yes.
So, follow-up question, Fola, and Sam, you can answer after Fola answers. But are women afraid to express to men that they want to be married as soon as they meet the man?
I think that going in and saying it straight up in the beginning is not a problem. That's what I do, especially now, because it doesn't mean that necessarily every guy that I meet I have to marry, or this means that that's the walk we're going. But I need to know, are you of that mindset, right? And I've had a guy friend of mine tell me that when a girl that he was talking to mentioned that, he felt he needed to shift or run away because he's like, hold up, we're still getting to know each other. Why are you bringing up marriage? And I said, no, it's because she's intentional and she knows what she wants. She wants to know if that's what you're thinking. It's not saying I have to marry you, but are you even looking for the same things? To me, I look at it like people who want children. If I meet you, it doesn't mean I'm trying to have children with you, but do you want children, period? Because if not, and I know that if I know I want it, then what's the point? What are we talking about? Where are we going? So I don't think it's a problem saying it early on that this is what I want. And it doesn't mean that it has to be with you.
All right. Sam, what do you think?
I am terrified of telling people I want to be married. I don't even like saying it out loud, to be honest with you, because it feels like this thing that I'm chasing, that this is this goal that keeps eluding me. So I don't like to say it, but I think you have to. I think it has to come up in the conversation. It has to, if you're serious about meeting somebody who's on the same page, you have to talk about it. I don't like talking about kids either, because I feel like it brings the conversation down and it becomes about all of these overly girly things, marriage and babies. But yeah, marriage and babies, that's what I want. Do you want the same thing? Yay or no? Check the box. Yes or no? But I don't like to talk about it. I never have. I don't think that's going to change. It doesn't mean that I won't or don't. I just don't like to. And I think it's a mistake. I think we should be talking about it more. My white girlfriends talk about it when they get the phone number. When they like, they're still texting and they're talking about it. They haven't even gone out on a first date and they're talking about it. So I definitely think we're doing it wrong. But that's because I'm human. I want to get to know you too. I want to have fun. I want to go out. I don't want it to be, I don't want it to be an interview. I don't want it to be an interrogation, but it is. So I have to ask those questions because I need to know where your mind is and I need to know what you're thinking about for the future, because that's what's going to determine whether or not, you get my time and whether or not I should give you my time.
Yeah. Ladies, how much time do you have to find a life companion? It is running out. All right. So if you're entertaining men that you don't know if he wants to be married, you have to date with intentions, right? You have to let them know what you're looking for. I want a husband. Not saying you're going to be my husband, but if we interact and we date, the intentions are for us to progress and become husband and wife. If he's not actively looking for a woman to make her his wife, you should not spend your time with that man. You're doing it wrong. And while you're doing it wrong, this time is running out of the hourglass, ladies. So the attention that you like, that you receive, is not invaluable. Means they're a valuable option. You go out to the club with your girls, you're having a good time. Guy number one comes up to you, tries to get your phone number, or you give him your phone number. Maybe guy number 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 guys wanted your number that night. And you take that to mean you have more time in this hourglass than you do. And you take that to mean you have more options than you do. Some of those guys, if not all 6 of them, is looking for some cheeks to clap. And you took that to mean you had some options. So you got to understand that those are not viable options. That attention is not viable option. And you couple that attention that you're getting from that guy with the fact that he doesn't want to be married or he would not marry you. You're not the caliber woman he's looking to marry. And you're not going to ever get what you want. So you have to learn the equation. You have to figure out that equation and what you're doing wrong and how to change those things so you can work towards getting the results that you want. Attention and attention goes a long ways. Like there's different caliber of men that give you attention. And if you get attention from men that you don't want to date, you shouldn't take that to be something that is not. All right. So attention doesn't mean you have a lot of viable options. So just understand that while this hourglass does what it does, and the time that you have to find a life companion is still shaking out as you take that attention to mean something that it does not mean. You have to figure that part out. All right. That's very important. So yeah, you both kind of touched on it a little bit, but I wanted to double down on it to make it uber clear. Attention does not mean you have more options. That's I can go there into many different avenues based on this conversation and topic, but that's enough for that one for right now. Let me put my hourglass down. It might come back up again. All right. So next topic. This is going to be a little bit tough, ladies. I'm not necessarily talking to Sam and Fola on here, but just any woman that may view this. This might be a little tough for you to hear because you may not know this. All right, so just hold on and just try to take it in best you can. All right. So let's start with Sam here. Do women settle? And what does that mean to you?
I hate that word. But I think women who do not do the work and who do not understand what's really happening when they're out here dating and looking for a mate, I think they do settle because they find themselves not meeting the men that they say they want to meet. They haven't figured out why. And so they look at the clock, that same hourglass that you
want me to put it back up here?
You can pull it back up, pull up the visual, and they realize they are running out of sand. And so they grab whatever is in reach so they can put the MRS in front of their name and check that off their list and move on with the things that they want to do in their lives. So I think women settle because it's convenient. I think they settle because they think this is the best that I can do. While I understand that if she's even thinking that way, she hasn't done the work for herself. Like, I understand that now, but I think that I see women make decisions about that spouse under pressure, under duress, especially when they get to my age. So I will be 40 in 2 months, and I have friends who have married men that we would have never guessed, wow, this guy, okay, left field. But, maybe it's love. Maybe it's something we don't know about. Maybe it's something we don't see, which is fine too. But I still think that the pressure, you talked about our internal clock, our biological clock. I think the pressure to try to get everything done rushes us to make decisions that we wouldn't make if we had more time. So yes, short answer to the question is women settle because we have to, or we get better at making decisions and we figure out how to not have to settle. But I think the first option is the easiest. It's easier to just say, this guy will do. I can love him for the rest of my life, even if he's not hitting on everything you really want or are really trying to capture.
All right. I knocked some shit over, so I had to pick it up.
I was wondering.
But I heard.
So emotionally charged by my answer, he kicked over all the stuff. Like, he was ready to jump on this. He was like, Go
ahead, Fola.
Fola, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I agree. I think, like you said, people that we probably wouldn't have selected before, we're now kind of like, well, he might do. I mean, he's a little bigger than I would have liked. He's a little older than I would like. We start saying all these things, but it's okay. He does this and he does that. And we start now finding excuses or giving ourselves a pass to settle, right? I know you mentioned you don't really like that word, and I don't necessarily like it either, because people use that word very often. And, and I think that it's now has a negative tone to it. But the truth of the matter is there's always been some sort of settling, I think, done. And I think men do it as well. But I think it's seen a lot more with us. So like you said, as you're talking to some of your girlfriends and they're saying, oh, they're with someone who they may have not been with. I think now people are just kind of wising up and saying, okay, well, are all these things on my list realistic? Do I need all of these things? Can I still make this work? And that's probably come to a point of, in my opinion, settling. But it doesn't always still have to be bad, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be bad.
All right. So here's my spiel on it. Are y'all ready?
Your spiel? Okay.
No, I'm leaving. I already know.
Just hold on and just brace yourself as best you can. All right?
I'm leaving.
So women do not settle. All right? You get exactly what you garner out here in this world. All right? So if you feel like you settled, then you probably overvalue what you bring to the table. You overvalue yourself. You overvalue your assets. Women do not settle. You get exactly what you garner out here. And the idea of settling is based on, I'm an 8. This guy's a 6 or a 5. I've settled, and I should have somebody better than him. But in reality, if you understood if you understood the equation, if you understood how to accurately assess yourself, which women usually do not. You all give yourself credit for a bunch of things that doesn't bring value to men, like your money, like your education, like those things. And yeah, exactly. And you don't often know your level of attraction. most women think they're more attractive than what they actually are. I've heard a lot of women say, and you see it online, Instagram, oh, it's a little TikTok. I'm a dime. Like, really? That means you're perfect. It means you're flawless. And they double down, right? Yes, right. I'm a dime. And I'm just sitting there like, see, this right here is part of that body positivity. This is a part of the delusions of grandeur. Hold on, Sam. Hold on. See, there you go. Hold on. I didn't interrupt you. I let you do your thing. Let me cook. So it's all a part of that delusion of grandeur, right? And when you can get a better understanding of who you are, well, not who you are, but how you're viewed by other people, your assets, the value that you bring, that other people understand that you bring or have to determine that you bring, the more accurately you can get that, then you will start to understand you're not settling. You may have thought you were an 8, all things considered, but you're really a 5 or a 6. And you got you a 5 or a 6 guy. But even for a woman, if you're a 7, let's say, and your guy's a 5, that's how it is designed. So you're not settling. Hold on, let me bring my point to a close, Sam. Then I'll let you jump right in there. So by the nature of it being more women on this earth than men, number one, by more women desiring the idea of marriage. I think men want to get married when they meet the woman that makes them want marriage. I think women generally want the idea of marriage. And you got your biological clock, it's ticking, hourglass, the sand is running out, your value diminishes as you get older. Like all of these things are against you. So if you are a woman and you're a 7 and you have a man that is a 5, you're not settling. That is how it is designed. Beyonce is way more attractive than Jay-Z. Beyonce settled, maybe. Some might say she did, some might say she didn't, but it depends on what criteria you're using. But if Beyonce, the queen bee of the beehive, settled, so to speak, it ain't settling. So you get what you garner out here in this world, and you do not settle. Those people at the top, they don't, the more attractive women in the world, they don't talk about settling because they get exactly what they want because they garner that. So it's just a difference, a subtle difference here in the thought process that we take a look at, take a deeper dive on. Go ahead, Sam.
So if I can, I know this is your show, but I just want to make a point.
You can say whatever you want to say.
So I think for men, this rating scale is purely based on looks. So on a scale of 1 to 10, if Beyonce is an 8 and 1 or 2 is a Precious, right? The character Precious from the movie. If this is the scale for which men are ranking you, it's purely on looks. Women, if you ask a woman, Fola, don't let me down, answer this question. If I ask her about a guy, we can rank Jay-Z. We can rank Jay-Z. Neither one of us would say Jay-Z is a 10. No, I don't think anybody would say that. I don't think anybody would argue with you, right?
Not even an 8.
Beyonce's an 8. Thank you. He's not even an 8. But guess what? He would still get a high rank from me because Jay-Z is a man of power. He is a businessman. There's things from him that I, as a woman, want, right? And aside from his money, it could be his status in life, right? The lifestyle that's going to bring me. So even though he's a 2, and I'm just making this up, right? Jay-Z's a 2, whatever. He's still going to get attention from women. Whereas if a woman on a man scale, if y'all are just looking at looks, right? And so this is something that, which is crazy. It's not anything that I ever really thought about before having a conversation with you, because I get all the time feedback from men. Oh, you have a great personality. You have a great personality. So I started leaning on my personality and thinking that these degrees and this personality was adding to my rank when it doesn't. That's not how men work. For y'all, it is visual. For y'all, it is what she looks like. For us, it's so much more. Mm-hmm. We will date somebody that's butt ugly, But if he loves me, if he's working hard, if we are both working towards a common goal and we support each other, that man's a 10 as far as I'm concerned.
Stop
right?
lying.
So
We've all, no, it's true.
No,
We've all
It's
been
not.
there.
that's true.
It's not true. It's only true if
It
that
is
guy
true.
is. It's only true if that guy is butt ugly has money. That's when it's
I
true.
I
Well,
literally
she
just
said, I mean, yeah, she said that based
But she
on if
said
he
that in
has the money and
you
if he
said that.
has,
Go ahead.
she said based on if he has money and if he has certain other traits and things that she desires, then he now becomes that 10 or that ideal match. Whereas, like you said, and I agree, Sam, men wouldn't do that same thing.
no. I have never met a guy that married a girl because she had an awesome personality. She maybe had an awesome personality, but she also gave awesome head too. Like, I don't know why he married her. Maybe he completed her. Maybe, like he said, he met her and wanted to have children with her and wanted to build a future with her based off of who she was. But I've never heard a man say, I married her because she had an awesome personality. Whereas I know women who say that. I married him because I love who he is.
He treats me good, all of those things. Absolutely. He has money,
So
to your point, Brian.
Yeah, that's the men are from Mars and women are from Venus thing, right? But here's what I have learned through conversations and discussions as I try to figure out my equation and what's going to work for me, is that while I may not think that way, that's how they think. And so if what you're grading me on is 100% based on what I look like until I open my mouth, then I have to have everything as together as I possibly can. That's all I can do, because that's what you're grading me on. For me to even get a shot, I have to look the part based on your standards, based on what you think is an 8 or a 5 or whatever it is you're searching for. And then from there, maybe I'll get to show my personality and maybe I'll get to win you over, but that's still not enough from my understanding. Brian, correct me if I'm wrong. That's still not enough, right?
But it's the same thing for women too, though. It all of this starts with how a person looks. If you find that person attractive or not. If you don't know the guy from a can of paint and he's not attractive, you're not gonna talk to him. Now, if you don't know, if that is very true, if you don't know him from a can of paint and you have some reason to think he has money or status of some kind, then you'll talk to him. But if you don't know anything about him at all and he's not attractive, you're not talking to him. You're not giving him your phone number. That's just the way this thing works. When you meet somebody, the first thing you check out is how they look. Am I attracted to this person or not? If I am, let me find out more about them. And it works the same way for men with women as well. So men can marry a woman because of her personality. Because those men at the top of this thing that have those dime pieces lined up to meet them, they got 10, 15, 20 dime pieces. So now that personality comes is a factor now. Now, if it's a dime piece versus a 4 that has a dime piece with no personality and a 4 with a great personality, yeah, he's going to pick the dime probably. Might not marry her, but he's going to pick the dime to socialize with. Now, if he has 10 dime pieces, now he's looking at personality. Now he's looking at her education, her degrees, how much money she makes. Those things come into the equation later on with men, but they are there. Dang, y'all quiet. Okay.
I mean, we're definitely giving you your time to speak. Sam, you want to go ahead? I see it all in your expressions. I mean, I still beg to differ on that, because I do think it's different. I definitely think it's different. I definitely agree with you, Sam, as far as looks and what guys will pick and what they're more focused in on. And Brian, to what you said too, I agree with, as far as if they have several dimes, like they would pick the best of that, right? Based on something they're bringing to the table. However, it's still that whole thing of women picking, and maybe compromising if we want to say settling on looks, right? Because we can say settle on different things. Like to the point you made about Beyonce and Jay-Z. Yeah, he was still a come up, in a lot of ways, right? He has that swag, he has that boss, New York personality, businessman, mogul, like everything that you would desire in a partner when it comes to that area. However, a lot of women still want a good looking man. And we can definitely agree that as much as I love Jay-Z, the New Yorker in me all day, every day, he's not an attractive man. He's not he's not someone that many people would look at him twice, especially not with what he has going on his head right now. I just want to put that out there. But, it's just not, he's not attractive. But with everything he brings to the table, someone will settle on the look part because of everything else he's bringing.
It's like when you see a really cute girl with a short, fat guy. It's the same thing. She picked him not because he was amazing looking. I rarely see really good looking men with not really great looking women. But the other way around, I see all the time. And to me, that proves the point that we are not as concerned with looks. Yes, does it matter? Yes. I'm not about to date Quasimodo, right? But at the same time, I'm okay if he maybe looks, a little less than what I wanted him to look like, if there's other things that he's bringing to the table that's more important to me.
Well, absolutely.
But Brian,
and I don't know how we got here because, that's just, we understand that, right? For men, it's how she looks physically. And for women, it's security, it's money, it's status, it's what he can teach you.
Yeah.
So we gotta understand the equation. Like, it is different for men and women. Men don't want a woman to teach us anything or to guide us and lead us and help us feel secure. So that is correct. But I think the overarching point that I was attempting to make, and I got sidetracked or didn't do a good job, is women are the ones that need to be attractive because of the things that you stated. Men look for attractiveness. Women, there are other things that are more important or that you will take. Men, not so much. Right? We can't do a whole lot with a woman that we're not attracted to in the long run. So, yeah, I think we're in agreement here.
Yeah, we are in agreement. If I can, if anybody is watching this and they're under the age of 30, what that means, sis, is you don't waste your flat tummy years. That's what that means. Because we're all gonna get older. It's gonna get harder and harder to keep it tight. You don't waste it. That's why you do it when you're younger. Because when you're 40, you're juggling bills, you're working, you have a whole life. The last thing you want to do is transform yourself for some man. But if you find yourself at 40, not where you want to be, that's what you're going to do. If you don't want to be alone. I don't know about everybody else, but going through 2020 and a pandemic alone, I live alone with the dog. I have no desire to live alone anymore. I'm good on be alone. So at this stage, I'm going to do the things I need to do to attract the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with, which means I'm not out here eating bread and rice. We done with that because I have no time for it, right? I have to be really serious. Just like I was on the phone, I was laughing with you guys, but I blocked that guy because I have no business even talking to him because I know that that's going nowhere. Even though it's fun and exciting, it's going nowhere, and I know that. So it's being mature enough to make those decisions, make those corrections, so that I can see the results that I'm looking for. I just want to make sure that that's said, because I'm not saying, if you want to roll the dice and you want to get to 40 and figure it out, great. But if you have some time, sis, figure it out before then. Because I just feel like, has somebody said to me at 25, 20. this and this be the case, I definitely, I know with certainty I would have moved 100% different. I was definitely meeting the men that I probably should have from back then. And now I'm meeting them, but it's different. It's not the same.
Stop blocking
my
people
opinion.
too. Stop blocking.
What you mean?
People.
He's blocked. He is because I can't help myself. I know it. He's blocked for the betterment of my spirit. He is blocked.
Sometimes it's what needs to happen, right?
He is blocked. Yes.
Or you can have a conversation with him. One of the two.
I mean, that first, probably, right?
No. He's not stalking her. She just blocked the
he-
man so she wouldn't talk to him no more, is what she said.
Well, what I'm saying is that first, probably like, hey, this isn't going to work. It's a waste of my time. I'm done. And then if he kept on, then maybe yes, block. But I mean, he might be receptive.
He ain't kept doing nothing. She just blocked the man. That's what I'm speaking to. But that's another conversation for a different show. All right. So this was good though. I'll be sure to post your contact information on the link for this thing, so people can hit y'all up and for your hosting and any other things that you have going on. All hearts and mind clear. Anybody want to add anything else about anything?
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. It was good chatting with y'all.
Sam?
Agreed. I had a great time. I have nothing. I could talk forever about this. I have nothing else to say.
All right. Well, cool. Now that you have some information and some different ways of going about and viewing things, think on it and go ahead and apply some pressure. If you're not applying pressure, you're getting pressure applied to you. So apply that pressure.
Brian Green, Optimal Happiness Guy, is a Renaissance man, a part of the Talented 10, published author of Amazon's #1 new release, Optimal Happiness, Love Ain't Never Been Enough, certified electric at Cummings Hanson Growth, LLC, entrepreneur of Body Goals,